Well, hello, and happy Saturday and happy New Year to everybody. We are live with our first broadcast of 2021, and I am extremely excited to get this year kicked off. I hope everybody had a great holiday, a safe holiday, a great new year, and we are looking forward to 2021 definitely being better than 2020 for sure. Welcome to another episode of The Color of Motion, where I interview people of color, diverse backgrounds in the field of motion graphics, visual animation, visual effects, animation, cartoons, and comics. You know the drill. Please say hello so I can give you a shout out. See where you're tuning. Let me know where you're tuning in from. We got some yes here, and I am trying to do a little housekeeping, making sure that the Chiquita. I don't want to mispronounce Chiquita. Chiquita. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had a great New Year's and a great holiday season. Just making sure that I am broadcasting on all my channels. You can catch me live on my Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube page. Please connect with me there and you will get notifications of when I do go live. You can also contact me at don.terrell at DG Graphics. Let me know what you want to see, who you may want to see, and if you know of anybody that may make a great guest for sure. So email me at don.terrell at DG Graphics, or please make sure that you connect with me at Don Terrell on my LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube page. That way you'll get notified of when I go live. It looks like we've got a lot of people in the house. Who else we got? Lisa Clincy. So she must be related to Michael. Lisa Clincy from Mississippi. Appreciate you joining us, Lisa, for sure. We are getting ready to get kicked off here. Like I said, I am so excited for this next guest. This brother here is super talented. And I'm so grateful and thankful that we were able to get connected and become friends. We hit it off really well. For sure, almost ready to go. One more page to check to make sure that I'm broadcasting live on all my channels. Again, say hello. Oh, my son. Ooh, mama's checking us out. My son. You ought to be so proud of your son, I should say Miss Clincy, not Lisa. I'm sorry. Giving you all the respect. Miss Clincy, you definitely need to be proud of your son because he is super, super talented. I'm sure, as you know. Okay, we are good to go here. Ready to rock and roll. All right, people. Like I said, welcome to our first episode of 2021 of The Color of Motion. Again, where I interview people of color and from diverse backgrounds in the field of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. This space that I love so much. So much. All right. This guy here, like I said, we hit it off so well. And it's such a funny guy. And hard to believe that this is his inaugural interview. I feel blessed that I'm the first one that he's been on interview-wise. Born in Belzoni, Mississippi. And we're going to talk about that because we had a good laugh about how small. I'm from a small town. Kind of small. Not as small as his town, but small. Belzoni, Mississippi. He grew up with a passion for video games during his early childhood days. Michael was always active playing in sandlot sports, but art and video games has always been his number one passion. He got heavily into traditional drawing during his high school days, and his passion for art led him to attend Mississippi Delta Community College, majoring in fine arts. He graduated with an associate's degree of fine arts in 2007. From there, he attended Illinois Institute of Art in Chicago, Illinois, 2009, majoring in game design. However, he continued to, due to financial hardship as a young adult, he had to leave the Art Institute. I understand how that is. Art Institute. That's another thing we have in common. We're both Art Institute alums. However, he continued to rigorously study his craft and sharpen his skills. Due to his steadfast perseverance, he was able to land his first professional gig as a 3D character artist working for Electronic Arts. That's EA Sports for everybody else that knows it. On Madden NFL 17 through 19 projects. Since then, his career has been soaring. He has been featured on several social media sites and currently being featured through Pixelogic ZBrush app for his Queen Rihanna. And we're going to dive into that as well. You'll see just how awesome a modeler he is. Queen Rihanna Nefertiti digital double portrait. He is currently residing in Illinois, working as a 3D character artist for Wargaming Chicago West. Please, everybody, help me welcome my friend, my colleague, Michael Clincy. You know we got to bring you on this one.
That was awesome, man. That was awesome. I appreciate it.
What's going on, Mr. Mike? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, my brother. How about yourself? How about yourself?
Great.
That's good. That's good.
We had a chance to chit chat a little before the show. I hope you had you had said you had a chance to go home. I hope you had a great New Year's Eve and holiday season.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I got to see my parents. Shout out to moms for cooking that good fish that she made.
Oh man, you're making me hungry. You're making me
Man, it
hungry.
was some good fish, man. Like she really put her foot in that.
You gotta love. You can't beat home cooking. You just can't beat home cooking. We appreciate moms for joining us today and checking out her son for sure.
Hey, mom.
Oh, all laughing. That's all right. That is all right. How's the weather there up in Chicago?
Oh man, it's super cold today. There's a lot of ice and stuff around. It
Okay.
snowed. It snowed like 2 days or something like that, and it was snowing last night. And I was actually out with my life partner. I'm gonna give her a shout out to her name is Molly Hendrickson,
Okay.
life partner. I just wanted to shout her out because I didn't want her to feel left out.
We appreciate that. We got to give you a shout out, and that's why I moved down here. I couldn't do cold like that anymore.
Oh man,
I'm from Ohio, so my blood has thinned considerably since I've been down here in Texas. I can't do that. Well, we're getting ready to dive into some good conversation. Like I said, Mike is, and we're going to show a little bit of his work. But like I said, what impressed me so much, and the reason why I reached out in the first place was just his work was. I just can't put words to it because 3D and modeling is hard enough, but when you're modeling somebody that is recognizable and get it right, it's just a different skill all in and of itself. And so when I saw the Queen Nefertiti Rihanna post, I was like, man, that's awesome. That is awesome. So tell me a little bit about. I gave a little bit of your background, but tell me a little bit. Give your story there for a little bit.
um, pretty much like you said, I started out as traditional artist, and I started getting super serious back in high school. Um, Things like you didn't have the tools and stuff back in the day, so I would rely on pencil and paper, basically.
Yeah.
Grew up drawing comic book characters and stuff like that. Excuse me. And Dragon Ball Z. I'm sure you know about Dragon Ball
Yeah,
Z.
yeah. I actually got a DVD in there, Dragon Ball Z. I used to catch that in the morning myself.
Man, I still love Dragon Ball Z to this day. So I think those things what really inspired me to push forward toward the arts, you know.
Gotcha.
And as far as art and work wise, it's the only thing that I know that makes me feel complete as a person. You know, art is life. You know, art is love. You know,
Yeah, yeah. So there
so I
was
share.
never other anything else, that you thought that you would be doing. Was art the thing that you knew that was what you wanted to do, and you really didn't focus on too many other things as far as being a doctor or whatnot.
You know, believe it or not, I have 8 years of healthcare experience.
Oh, okay.
So I used to work in the ER as a registration clerk,
Yeah.
and that's one of the most stressful jobs. I did that for like 8 years. Started out in Belzoni doing it, then I moved to Michigan, and then from Michigan to Texas, and then I just been a lot of places.
Well, and we joked about this when we first connected, Belzoni, and how small
Belzoni, man.
and how small Belzoni is. I mean, obviously, you knew that you were going to have to leave Belzoni to.
I had to. I had to. It's funny that you mentioned like growing up trying to be a doctor or whatever. I never had the feeling or the urge to be a doctor. But when I got into the healthcare field, there were nurses trying to get me to do like go into the nursing program. But I really didn't want to do that. So what I did was I developed a plan to escape, you know, where I'm from. I'm not saying like where I'm from is a bad place. It's
Yeah,
just there's not a lot of opportunity for artists there.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
in my field, you can't do movies and video games in Belzoni, Mississippi, because they don't offer stuff like that.
yeah,
Now you may get something like agriculture or teaching degrees and stuff, but as far as like the arts, that doesn't exist. So what I did was I took that job in the healthcare field. I saved my money, and then that's when I left Mississippi in 2009, and I attended the Art Institute. I knew exactly what I wanted to do at that point.
yeah, yeah. That was kind of like me. I was always, art was it, and I can't really think of anything else that I would
Hmm.
probably do. Maybe I always said, well, if I did do art, I like science and
Yeah.
biology kind of thing. I like animal programs like Wild Kingdom, and I thought maybe I wouldn't mind doing something like that. But art
Hmm.
was just always. I always just knew it was art. I always just knew it was art.
Always, man. Love art. Gotta
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Well, tell me, what do you think of it now that because of 2020 and COVID and people working remotely, how it would be in Belzoni now, or just being able to be at home and still, with the way technology is now and the ability to work remotely, how that would play for you? Would you still want to be where you are in Chicago or somewhere else, or would Belzoni, be nice for you and still being able to work and do the things that you're doing?
I'm just gonna put this very blunt. No, I can't go back to Bells.
Oh, sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mom. Don't take it.
Look. Look, I love my hometown. You know, I love my people that are there, but I can't see myself moving back there.
No.
Even though it would be nice to save money because it's less expensive there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Trust me, I feel you there, brother, because I couldn't see myself back in Sandusky myself. I love my
Hmm.
hometown, but it's just, once you get out and get a taste of just
Hmm.
outside of that, it's really hard to come back.
But not only that though, it's kind of hard with companies though because you know I can be here in Illinois and I can work remote because I have an Illinois job. But
Yeah.
if I was to go back to Mississippi, then you know when you're doing a state crossover, then companies have to get some kind of extra paperwork done,
Oh
and
yeah.
then you know it's like contract stuff,
Yeah.
so it's really taxing on you, and I don't think you would really want to do that, you know, at that point. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would rather stay here where I am.
I hear you. I hear you. So, how did you kind of transition? Because 3D is a pretty, pretty broad spectrum. What
Mhm.
made you kind of? I mean, were you always kind of geared towards gaming since you love gaming, or did you want to do, like big feature films, like a lot of, animators and 3D people want to do, or how did you kind of figure that was kind of your avenue going?
Well, um, growing up, I used to watch a lot of scary movies and stuff. Alien,
Yeah,
those things got me into like movies and being very interested into like how do they do this and video games as well. Like I remember, I don't know if you remember, but you probably know this game is called Double Dragon. It
yeah,
was on the Nintendo. That game there, man, that game there really opened doors in my mind. Like, okay, this is the route I want to take. I like the way the gameplay. I like the character design, the level design. So, in those early years, I didn't even know that there was an actual person that
did
like
it.
a yeah. I didn't know what the name of like what is the name of this? What does this person do? Like, what do you call this? I didn't know of such thing as an animator or character artist. I just know it's there. It's a video game. They put it together on the computer. That's all I knew.
Yeah,
Um, but when I got to the art institute, I remember taking one of my instructors class. Her name is shout out to Yalu Lin. Yalu Lin. She may be watching this. Her name is Yalu Lin.
yeah,
She taught me she taught me Maya, and she said something to me because at this time I think I was getting ready to exit the school because of the financial hardship.
yeah.
She said, I remember her saying, "Hey, I can give you the tools, but it's up to you to, you know,
You
further the knowledge that I give you." So instructors will only give you so much, but it's up to you to take it to that extra level. And
yeah,
from that point, when she told me, gave me those skills, YouTube became my best friend. Digital tutors became my best friend. You probably know those
yeah,
sites. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely,
self-teaching,
yeah,
just learning the programs, the ins and outs of it. And I actually taught myself ZBrush within 2 months.
man.
2 months.
Yeah, making me feel bad. I was like, why ZBrush? All right, 2 times. But see, what I know when I like I said first sat down, and I know Maya is industry standard,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's just such a deep program. I think I'd probably be a lot more interested now. But I know when I first started doing and learning 3D, I was doing graphic design for a turnkey company that
Hmm.
built video systems and sold 3D software.
Hmm.
And they would let me come in and play on the software, but they were selling. And I don't know if you remember this software, Softimage.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love that program.
And that was like the first program they sat me down. They sat me down and they brought out these like 7 or 8 that 7 or 8 manuals. And I was like, "What is this?" They said, "This is the manual for Softimage." I was like, "Oh man, that did it for me." And I started off 3D.
Just
And
threw the towel in. I
yeah,
give up.
yeah, I give up. I mean, I'm not trying to learn math. I'm done with school. All these expressions and stuff. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, no. But then they started selling Lightwave.
Oh yeah. I remember that too. I
And
remember
that
that.
made it so much easier for me to understand and really get passionate about 3D.
Mhm.
And so I started getting into Lightwave, and the people that created Lightwave broke off and they created Modo.
Oh yeah. Moto is
And
dope.
so
Yeah.
those are my two programs that I really like using. I'm kind of starting to play with Blender a little now, but
Mm,
you know, uh,
ZBrush is the way to go.
yeah, yeah. ZBrush is just a straight. I mean, they're known for sculpting. I'm pretty sure they can do. They're starting to kind of do a little more, but
Hmm.
ZBrush is just known for its sculpting, abilities, and you're
Oh
just
yeah.
able to do such amazing work doing that.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
what did you find was the most difficult thing? I mean, was there something difficult about learning, uh, ZBrush and learning modeling in general that was hard for you?
When I first started with Maya, I struggled a lot, and Yalu can tell you that I struggled a lot because my mind just couldn't wrap around the fact that it was 3D. Like, how do you even generate something from scratch in here? How do you do it? And when you really, I think she broke it down real simple. She said everything is made up of like simple shapes. You
Yeah,
have your triangle, you have your squares, your spheres, and when you start breaking stuff down into simple shapes, it becomes easier. So, but with practice, you get better. But for the beginner artists out there, it's not easy starting out. You're gonna
yeah,
struggle. You're
yeah,
gonna struggle.
yeah. Now I know with most traditional 3D softwares, it's kind of polygonal based.
Hmm.
Um, do you find that easier than just say jumping in like ZBrush, where it's just like a hunk of clay and you're able to just sculpt, or do you? I mean, I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't dove into Pixel ZBrush, so do they do like polygonal style modeling, and is that how you kind of approach modeling, or do you approach it like a sculptor with just a hunk of clay and start sculpting your models?
I would say about 80% of the time I approach it as a sculptor. I start with a simple sphere and then just start building up primitives on top of that, and then they have this tool inside of ZBrush called Dynamesh. And what Dynamesh does, it fuses all the clay together and give you more polygons to work with while you're sculpting.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Now they used to, which I don't think they sell anymore. It was like a introductory sculptress.
Sculptures Pro,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it's called.
And I actually have that, and it was really, a fun tool to play with. Uh,
Hmm.
which kind of, like I said, I'm sure they did it so they can get people to move up to, ZBrush. But it is such a
It
powerful
is.
program for sure.
It is.
And I've seen some of the work that people are cranking out of ZBrush. It's just amazing stuff.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I
again,
mean, they have a lot of tools. Like, I don't know if you've heard of Marvelous Designer before.
yeah, marvelous designer. Yeah,
So you mentioned like doing stuff the Polygon way.
yeah,
I use both of them because in this field you have to be versatile. You have to show you can do things more than one way. So sometimes I can take stuff back into Maya and just straight polygon model it out from a plane or a sphere or something like that. But I mostly like to start inside of ZBrush because ZBrush is where all the love is. And then from there, you get to break it down to some smaller polygons, and then you go into Marvelous Designer, and then you start building clothes on top of your character and stuff. So that's basically my pipeline, what I do.
gotcha. So as a game, in the gaming space, do you still play a lot of video games, or since you're working in video, is it like a typical job? Well, like working at Burger King, I'm tired of burgers. I work here, but I'm just tired of eating burgers. So
Yeah, I know, right? Funny thing is, I don't play the video game as much as I should. And here's the reason for that. I'm too analytical now. I
mhm,
know how they make the stuff. As far as me trying to enjoy the game, I can't. I'm too busy trying to find stuff that's wrong with it.
yeah,
Oh, he didn't do this pixel right, or the textures on the clothes. Like, I could have, you can beef the texture, the normal mapping. I'm just always being analytical about it. I can't really sit there and enjoy the visuals. So it's kind of a struggle for me to play video games. But I still try to play them sometimes, but not all the time.
gotcha. So where do you see gaming going in the future? I mean, like I said, it's really, especially with virtual reality and
Mhm.
that kind of space. Where do you kind of see uh, games going? And there's such, you know, games now. The little preview before the game is almost like a feature film movie before the
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
drops in. It's getting so more polished as time goes on.
Um, it's funny you mentioned how games are like feature film movies. I kind of feel like they should treat the video game industry like the movie industry. You know how some people just say an actor would get an Oscar award or
Yeah,
something like that, but then you hear somebody mention an artist name like Neville Page, they like, well, who is that?
yeah,
You know, these guys are amazing and they produce like amazing work. Like Raphael Grassetti, those guys, these are guys I follow. They're people that I look up to, and and study and get a lot of my knowledge from.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I feel like the game industry will be just as big as the movie industry because right now, statistically speaking, the gaming industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I think they're booming more than the sports.
Yeah.
ESPN.
Yeah.
If I'm not right, don't I think I'm right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
So
funny that you mentioned that because another friend of mine on LinkedIn had made the exact same comment about,
really,
yeah, about the fact that video games didn't get the love that say films does. Um,
right?
Emery, if you're watching, we were talking about that, and I definitely feel like video games is, like you said, it's such a big space that a lot of people
Yeah,
don't think is big, but it really is a billion dollar industry for sure.
definitely, definitely.
So, what type of things do you kind of pull from that kind of help inspire your work?
Um, I'm always browsing Pinterest. Pinterest has a lot of unique designs. I found myself lately looking at a bunch of tattoo designs.
Mm,
Um, I don't know if you saw the character that I posted on LinkedIn, but it was
yeah,
a female character, and she has like I'm gonna put a bunch of tattoo designs and stuff all over her head, her skull, and face. She's just gonna be pretty crazy. It's
yeah,
gonna be amazing. So Pinterest is a thing that I look for inspiration. Nowadays, I've gotten into the gym. I'm working out now because
yeah.
COVID, man. COVID.
I think a lot of you, trust me, I'm the exact same way. That was one of my 2021 resolutions to lose a few pounds and get back in shape there myself. So I think
Man.
2020 hit a lot of people.
Yeah, COVID, man, just came and shut everything down. So you can't really even. I mean, I take a walk.
Yeah,
Nature inspires me a lot.
yeah,
When you really look around and at the trees and stuff, like especially during the spring and summertime, you see all the trees and the leaves and stuff. That is abundance, man. Like, and just to think how this stuff got here.
yeah, yeah,
Shout out to my Lord and Savior God, because without God, none of this stuff is possible.
yeah,
So, and
yeah.
He's the creator, so therefore I have the same type of creative
Yeah,
ability.
yeah. And it's funny because, and this is kind of a little side note, and we'll dive a little deeper into the diversity of stuff. But a friend of mine, had made the comment about, she was colorblind, and
Hmm.
I've kind of gotten, a little dissuaded about that saying because I don't want to
Hmm.
be colorblind, and I think God put color in here for us to really appreciate. Like I said, seeing nature and seeing all
Hmm.
the different colors and different things that are in nature. Do you
Definitely.
enjoy? Because it is my what you do is really involved. Do you enjoy one aspect over another, the texturing as opposed to the modeling, or do you enjoy the process as a whole?
I enjoy the full process. It's because every asset that you work on is different. You learn something every time you touch a new asset. Um, I will say this though, there's just one little thing, one little thing as far as character art that I don't really enjoy, and that's the retopology stage.
Yeah,
You familiar with that, right?
yeah,
When you take yeah,
yeah, yeah. You can't have, yeah. They don't want no like 10 billion. Man, we can't move this. Can't move this. You got a retofo for all
you
our
got,
people out there that may not know what retofo is. It's really shaving down the polygonal count of a model to where it's movable in a game.
yeah. If you have 10 million polygons, say you got a character's 10 million polygons, you have to reduce that 10 million down to something animatable. Basically, you got to get it down to like 30K.
30,
From 10 million to 30K,
and
a
then
character has to be 30K. That's ridiculous, man.
we're not doing a piece of film here. This is for a game. This is for a game, man. Oh man. So how many polygons was Rihanna?
See, Rihanna was special. Her head alone was, I believe, about 15,000 polygons.
15,000.
And the reason why I did it that way is because I knew I was only gonna like render her upper torso, her upper
Yeah,
bust. You
yeah.
wasn't gonna see anything else. Originally, I was gonna show her whole body, but I felt like uh it's gonna take too long to do that. So what I did was I just did the head part, and then the eyelashes and the eyeballs themselves. I think they were like 2,000 polygons.
Everybody, this is his Rihanna model. Amazing, amazing, amazing work. Um, like I said, that's what caught my attention. And like I said earlier, it's tough enough just straight modeling anything, but to model something that people are gonna recognize and are,
Hmm.
don't look like Rihanna, and that is a totally different thing. And I'm going to throw up here
Oh yeah,
this
work in progress.
work in progress, but you see how amazingly so. How much research did you do? I can see all the reference photos that you had,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to, because when I model, I'm thinking of throwing a background image because I think polygonally, and
Hmm.
so I'm thinking, you throw in a background, a front view, side view, top view, and modeling, kind of like box modeling from that.
Right.
How was your approach, through ZBrush doing it? I know you said you just start out with the sphere and just kind of shape it from there. I mean,
Hmm. Well, basically, if you look closely at that reference, you will see that I don't have a full-on frontal view
yeah,
or a complete profile view. Most of those images are distorted because of the camera
yeah,
distortion that they
camera
have.
angle, yeah, that
Yeah.
got that.
So here's where your anatomy knowledge kick in. I've been studying anatomy since high school, and I still don't really know like all the names of the anatomy. But this is where your anatomy skills kick in. That you're supposed to know how skull is shaped, how the nose, the bridge of the nose, the eye shape like an oval. The
Yeah,
head is shaped like an oval. This is where your basic knowledge comes in at.
gotcha.
And it takes a while to get to this level. Like I supposed to start mentoring a couple of people, but I be telling them that hey, starting out, you might get frustrated because you want so bad to get to that level, that perfection level. But through my process, if you was to see from beginning to end,
Yeah,
my stuff don't look that good either. I always try to remember in the back of my mind to keep pushing through the ugly stage.
yeah, yeah. Well, obviously, because this was your project, you could, take the time to really work on this and perfect it. But
Hmm.
what is your like average turnaround time, like working on a game, and they give you a project? What is the turnaround time on being able to work on your models?
Okay, so for game characters, we have these things called I forgot what they're called, but we use a project sheet, and you have to schedule out the timing with the production team. And basically, for one character, you may get like a month to work on that character. That's from start to finish. That's from high poly. Then just say that character has hair, you got to do the hair, and hair is a whole nother beast.
Yeah,
It's an art in itself. It's not easy at all.
yeah, no,
But you basically have a month, sometimes less than that, depending on the complexity of the character. So,
gotcha.
but I would say give or take a month. But have you played God of War yet? Are you
No,
familiar with God of War?
I haven't played the, and I try not to, like I said, because I know I'd be sitting on a game. I don't keep too many video games around, but I do know God of War. Yeah,
Kratos is the main character in that game.
yeah. Did
For
you
the
see
last,
the Super Bowl commercial that they
I
did
didn't,
for that? Oh man,
I didn't see that.
because I follow. Gosh, his name just slipped my mind. He does visual effects, and he does a lot of Ash. And actually, he did the uh,
Uh
Avengers poster because it was, the A was all ash and broken up.
huh.
but he's known for ash effects, and so
Oh.
um, they ran the commercial during uh, the Super Bowl.
Mhm,
Awesome commercial where Kratos was his daughter was running up to him, and she
mhm.
just completely turned to ash. And so
Ash, yeah.
it was a great commercial for their game, God of War.
Wow. Yeah, but that character, Kratos, if I'm not mistaken, I think it took them 1 year to complete that character.
Yeah,
And oh, you know what? Let me just add this too, because a lot of times you can get a character and it can take 2 months. And the reason I say this is because the art director is, critiquing it.
yeah,
Sometimes you have to go back and change stuff. So it's iteration on top of iteration on top of iteration. So a lot of times you get a lot of breathing room. Plus, you have to constantly be in communication with the rigging team and the animation team to, hey, does this work for this character? Because you have to do the topology a certain way around the mouth and the eyes. If you don't do it correctly, then it's not going to animate properly. So you got to go back to square one.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
basically the pipeline. It's a lot of back and forth.
Back and forth for sure. Back and forth for sure. Um, what what are your thoughts for where you're wanting to take your skills are already super high level.
I appreciate it.
Where are you wanting to kind of push your skills even further?
Um, I would say my next piece, I'm trying to get more into the hard surface modeling, like
Yeah,
mechanical stuff.
yeah,
Because you stand out to a lot of people when you're versatile in organic and hard surface modeling. And I don't have a lot of hard surface modeling in my background, but I can model anything.
yeah,
As long as you got a observational eye, you have that artistic eye, you can see and model pretty much anything. So I'm gonna take my skills to the next level in that.
yeah. Do you think your fine arts kind of background or your schooling in fine arts has kind of helped you with your kind of eye a little? Because I always thought, like I said, I went to the artist and it wasn't, you know, uh, we had art fine art courses, but I really didn't kind of relate like how this at that time kind
Mhm.
of how this fine arts, what's this got to do with what I want to do? Do you feel like it's helped your kind of eye and kind of appreciation for art?
It has. I don't know if I mentioned this, but during the Art Institute years, we would take classes like life drawing. That's when you get a live model
Yeah,
and you would actually draw that person on paper. But in your eye forces you to see that body, that figure in a three-dimensional form on paper.
yeah,
So I would say having a good traditional background is definitely added to my sculpting ability because you basically just transition from traditional to digital sculpting. It's like the same. It's just drawing with clay,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
When you think
No,
about it that way.
yeah, it is. It is. Like I said, I did enjoy the life drawing. I was talking more kind of like art history, like more art history. Like, okay, what the, I just didn't really relate to me. Uh,
Yeah.
so, what do you think your biggest lesson has been through this journey of yours that you got, or what's been the best piece of advice somebody has given you through this space first?
Throughout the career, this
Yeah,
journey,
through your span so far, what's been the best piece of advice somebody's given you?
never give up. Always push forward, always push through, even when stuff seems like it's not working out. You just have to believe and trust that the process is going to unfold the way it's supposed to. And, just stay focused, always study. Those are some of the key things that stood out to me as far as knowledge and, continue to better myself as an artist and grow as an artist.
Got you. Got you. Oh man, awesome, awesome. Like I said, everybody, we are here with my good friend Michael Clincy, character artist with Wargaming. I'm going to ask you this question: What do you? How do you see where it is in gaming space? Because I know how it is in all the other spaces, but
Uh,
diversity. And before you answer that, and before we dive into just the diversity thing, we're going to take a quick commercial break here. But I want you to think about that and give us your answer when we come back.
Gotcha.
And we are back talking with my man Michael Clincy, character artist with Wargaming Chicago. Uh, are there a lot of because, like I said, this is the conversation I've had with the friend of mine, Emery. If you're watching, that he's really big about promoting and getting blacks in gaming in the gaming space. How is it? How do you see it right now? And what is it like for you?
Um, Before I answer that, I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say. I don't want to bash anybody, no
No,
companies or
we're not
anything, but
bad anybody, no companies, because I know companies, a lot of companies, both big and small, they have a long way to go as far as really diversity. So we're not bashing anybody or putting anybody out there.
diversity is poor right now. I'll be honest with you. I can't tell you the number of times I went to different company websites just to apply. But when you before you apply, you like to check the company out
Yeah,
and see how they are as a culture and stuff like that. But then what's interesting is you scroll down and you see the company photo. Predominantly on that photo, you would see Caucasians or
yeah,
Asian people,
yeah,
and you could count the black people,
yeah,
African American people, on the two people in the crowd.
yeah,
Sometimes it's no black people in the crowd. So I'm like, we really have to do better as a whole, because there's a lot of talented people out here.
yeah, for
That's a
sure.
lot of talented people, and you never know who you're overlooking. I don't know if it's discrimination. I'm not trying to dive deep into that. That's a whole nother topic. That's the elephant in the room. But we got to do better, man. As a whole, we got to
Yeah,
do better.
I think, like I said, and it's something that I think every company, some companies are dealing with it better than others right
Yeah.
now, but it's definitely a problem that you name it, any mainstream company is dealing with. But I think the ones that are really gonna thrive and really level up, and I always say this about Netflix. Netflix is, to me, has been kind of that one company that is really kind of stepping out a lot further and a lot more as far as bringing diverse talent in. And I know that's how it was when I was looking around at some online schools to try online animation schools to try out,
Hmm.
and they would show the instructors, and all the instructors and all the different
Right.
classes, but it was like one African American out of 20, 30 instructors. I'm like, okay, there's got to be more people of color and different backgrounds that are able to teach. And I think now it's unfortunate because of just the social things that we've gone
Yeah.
through, that a lot more people are becoming aware of it. Uh,
Hmm.
but like you said, it's definitely something that needs to be uh, worked on a lot more for sure.
Definitely. Definitely.
And I think that's only going to come from having the conversation, having these uncomfortable conversations that people really don't want to talk about. And that's the reason I think that's held been this biggest gap, because it's a
Right.
conversation that we want to try to avoid for whatever reason. But I think the ones
Right.
that are really going to put great content out there and content that resonates with people, and I think Black Panther really kind of blew the door open as
Oh
far
yeah.
as showing the one financial impact, because I feel like stories are stories, and a story will relate. anybody can relate to anything in the story as long as it's relatable for them,
Right.
regardless of whether it's a white character, or black characters, or Asian characters. There'll be something in the story that resonates. But I think Black Panther really opened the door as far as just financially impact
Yeah. Oh
a
yeah.
movie that was just primarily all black, that was just had such a big impact financially in everything, in every way.
Definitely. Definitely. I
Yeah,
couldn't agree anymore.
yeah, yeah.
100%.
And what do you think? And I don't know if you watch like animated movie. Have you watched Soul yet?
So I haven't checked that out yet. I
No,
haven't
it's,
checked that out.
I watched it the other day. I'm gonna watch it again because I wanted to do a review on it.
Hmm.
And it's a great movie. I love Pixar. Love you, Pixar. Um, it's a great movie, but I think there are a couple of points that I think they fell short on. Uh,
Hmm.
like any company, if you're really truly a forward thinking company, you're going to work on it. And I hope they work on those particular areas. I think next week, I'm going to, mid next week, I'm going to do a live review on it because I truly did like the movie, but I felt like there were some things that they fell kind of short on.
I'm definitely gonna check it out. Then what was again? Soul? You said?
So yeah, that was their
Okay.
first black animated feature, and I think Jamie Foxx did the title character,
Okay. Great. I'm gonna check it out.
voiced the title character. But great, it's a great animated movie. I gave it an A-. There were a couple of things that kept me from giving it an A+, but I'll talk about that sort of thing.
That's
Um,
understandable.
um, so what if you could go back? If you could go back in time and stand in front of your younger self, what would be the one thing that you might tell your younger self?
Oh, that is a good question. Um, I don't want to go back. No, for real.
Yeah, man, I was looking pretty.
But
Uh,
no, I would if I could go back, I would probably guide myself to I took a lot of detours on
yeah,
this journey. Like my path hasn't been straight at all. It's been so many crooks and turns and stuff. If I can go back to those specific points, I would tell myself to do a certain thing differently.
yeah,
I would say something, but I'm not going to say this on live. But there was this particular thing that had happened. If I could go back to that particular point and say, "Hey, don't do this," you
yeah,
should listen to the person that said, "Don't do this," because
yeah.
someone actually told me not to do something, and I did it anyway,
Anyway,
and
yeah,
I suffered the consequences. So if I can go back to those points, I would
yeah.
correct those paths.
No, and I think that's a big thing. Our path is never straight, and it's funny. And I don't know if you checked out the interview I did with Andre
Hmm.
Rodriguez from Blue Sky.
Oh,
He
nice.
Yeah, he learned his 3D from prison.
Oh,
So
you know what? I was looking at that. I was
yeah,
looking at that. That's
he
a
was
good
in
note.
prison. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody's path is different. It's not where we start. It's where
Mhm.
it's where we end up is
Right, right.
really matters. And I think that puts you in a unique position to tell somebody else, and really
Hmm.
inspire somebody else, which is kind of the main reason why I like doing this show, because it does show that there's a different path that you can go down, and that there are different options for us that we can do, and we don't necessarily have to do the mainstream things that people think that we do, or that
Right,
we think that we should be doing.
right, right.
But yeah, like you said, he was kind of. I was like, when we had our call, we're talking about it, and we were, said, yeah, I was in prison. He said, yeah, my friend's been getting me to do an interview, and then he told me, yeah, I was in prison, spent some time in prison and stuff. I said, well, man, you definitely should be
Oh
doing
yeah,
interviews, telling people, your journey,
right.
what you've gone through to get where you're at right now.
Definitely, definitely. That's a blessing, man.
So definitely inspiring. Mr. Ashwin, we appreciate you showing up.
Oh, I just saw
So
that.
you have a God-given talent. That part cannot be taught, and that's true. I think
I
there are
appreciate that.
certain things that just can't be taught. And like I said, this brother here has got some serious, serious bad skills. And actually, we were just talking about this before the show. I'm probably going to bring him back, and we're probably going to do a kind of live uh, ZBrush session. Have him come on and do a ZBrush session with us because that's definitely something that I'm wanting to get more familiar in with myself for sure.
It's gonna be fun.
Uh, I enjoyed it for sure. Uh, so, what else has kind of got you going as far as, I mean, is gaming the space that you want to kind of stay in, or do you want to venture into creating your own films, or what is your kind of?
eventually, eventually, I want to at least do a movie or two. But right now, I would say I'm pretty comfortable where I am. I would, however, say that eventually, I would like to be more independent. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
that is the ultimate goal.
yeah, yeah. And I would say that this is a great time for content creators because there's so many different platforms that will allow you to kind of have that freedom and independency for sure.
Oh, that's
Uh,
my dad. That's my
Mr.
dad.
Mr. Herman Clincy, bro, we got mom and dad on here.
They
Mike
both there watching. They both there watching.
had the go getter attitude. I'm sure he's gotten that from both you and his mom.
Definitely,
Uh,
definitely.
what? Speaking of which, what was the biggest lesson that you did learn from your mom and your dad?
They always told us, especially growing up. My mom, it stick with me now. I even hear it in my sleep sometimes. She always says, and my pop said it too. He said, "I dare you to be different." I didn't know what that meant at the time, but now I see what they're saying, meaning don't follow the crowd. You
Yeah,
know, you stand out more when you going your own way, the opposite way. So definitely be different. You know, and I've always been different. You know, and I've always been a little nerdy kid, and a lot of people that's growing up now and they're considered nerds or whatever. It's not a bad thing, man. It's
yeah,
cool. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
we're cool people, man. I'm cool. You
Dad,
know,
dad says dare to be different.
dare to be different. There it is.
Now, uh were they like my mom? She didn't discourage me, and she always encouraged my talent, but she didn't quite understand. I don't know. How I want you to do this because this you're good at it, and this is what you do, but didn't quite understand that this is a could make a living, and this is what you could do as a living. Did they get that?
I don't think they actually um, knew that there was an actual game job, but I used to tell them that I wanted to be a graphic designer, and they always said that, hey, do whatever you need to do whatever you love doing, because if you do what you love doing, you'll never work another day in your life, basically. So this is not work for me.
Yeah,
It's more like play. I get I get to play daily, so
yeah,
from home.
and that's a good lesson. I mean, to take away. Do what you love to do, and like you said, you'll never work a day in your life if you do what you love doing, for sure.
Hmm.
Mike, I'm always trying to be respectful of people's time, for sure. Um, and we are coming up on this hour here.
Oh wow, we've been chopping it up.
It goes by quick. Like I said, it goes by so quick, especially when you have such a good conversation like we have. It definitely goes by quick. You guys need to make sure that you check out Mike's work. It's this. it's just phenomenal. Really, it is. He's active on LinkedIn or Instagram. You can find him at Mike's Millions. Mike Millions 28.
White millions.
Mike Millions 28. Active on Twitter. Find him on Twitter. Make sure you connect with him. I did that Instagram. Okay, it switched on me. Twitter at Mike_millions. He loves his millions.
I gotta have them.
Gotta have his millions. Millions 27 on Twitter for sure. Facebook at Mike's Straight Graphics, GRFX. You can find him. But if you want to see really his work, check him out on his ArtStation page, clincyart.artstation.com. Search for his Queen Rihanna Nefertiti. Like I said, I can't put into words how awesome a model that is, and I'm so looking forward to having you back on, Mike, to do an actual live ZBrush session, and really showing your process of how you work and stuff. Mike, like I said, I'm so thankful and grateful that we've had a chance to connect, and I'm able to call you friend for sure, man.
No doubt, no doubt.
It's been fun. Again, make sure that you tune in, connect with me again at Don Terrell on my LinkedIn. Oh, I'm in this box, so I'm not over my signs. At LinkedIn, YouTube, and my Facebook page. Connect with me there so that you get live notifications of when I do broadcast live every Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, CST, Central Standard Time. Color of Motion, where I always like to say stories come in all shades. Brother, like I said, it's been an honor and a privilege having you on and being your first interview for sure.
Oh yeah.
You done a super job, man. Please hang around for just a few minutes backstage while I close this out, and we can chop it up for just a few minutes before you go. Everybody, give my man Michael another round of applause.
Clap it up. Clap it up. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Again, hang around for a few minutes while I close this out, and we can chop it up for a second there.
Alrighty.
Guys, this was a great first of the year. Like I said, I love Mike, man. He's just a funny guy, and we clicked immediately when we started talking for sure. I appreciate everybody that tunes in. Mom, Dad, I appreciate you tuning in, showing your love and support for your son. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in for sure. Again, make sure you connect with me because I want you to get the notifications. Next week, I have another great special guest and friend coming on, Mr. Gray Williams from creative director and storyteller from Makey, does some really cool comic book art, black superheroes. That's the thing we need right now, a lot of black superheroes, and you're starting to see more and more of them for sure. So I'm really looking forward to talking with my man Gray about what he's working on and the content that he's put out for sure. So again, I appreciate the love and support that you all show. Make sure you tune in next Saturday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, for another great episode of The Color of Motion. And remember, stories come in all shades for sure. Have a great rest of the day. Be safe out there, and let's get 2021 kicked off to a great year.